Today, I have been briefed by the NTSB. I've spoken to Secretary of Transportation Chow. I have met with some of the families of the victims. I've spoken to Amtrak officials, and I'm here to report that we have three things today that Washington is focused on. First, compassion. Second, confidence that we're going to get to the bottom of this. And third, commitment to restore service to I-5. First, on compassion, I can tell everyone that I have seldom seen such an outpouring of compassion in the state of Washington. We, in some sense, we're all on that train. Many of us, including people that I work with for the state of Washington, are in the hospitals and have been victims of this. This is something that's touched every family, and our hearts are with all of the families. I got to meet one of the families who lost someone in this accident, and I conveyed to them that our arms are wrapped around her and her family, and I believe that is true. Second, we have confidence that we will get to the bottom of what caused this horrific tragedy. I've talked to NTSB. They have significant tools. They are well on their way to gathering evidence. They indicated to me that they were pleased that the scene was intact so that the evidence will remain undisturbed for their evaluation. We should have confidence that we will find out what happened in this horrific event, and we will fix anything that went wrong to make sure that in the future rail safety is assured for everyone. Third, we have a commitment to open I-5 as rapidly as humanly possible. I can report that this is going, frankly, much faster than I anticipated. Many of the rail cars have been removed. There is a crane in position for removing the locomotive. Things are going as well as could be expected. The state cannot make a firm prediction on reopening I-5 at this moment, but I can say that there's good progress, and what remains to be done is removing the remaining wreckage, checking the roadbed and the bridge to make sure that they are safe, and then restoring I-5. We want to thank Washingtonians for their patience while we're going through this. We know that that is taxing, and so far we have been hearing good reports of people exercising all the patience that we can muster as we go through this event. I want to say that I have heard something that is gratifying for Washington. I have heard the same comment from multiple non-Washingtonians, people from federal and state agencies from other states who have told me uniformly that they are impressed with the efficiency, the professionalism, and the courage of the first responders. And all of us owe a debt of gratitude not only to the professional first responders, but to the volunteers who got out of their cars and helped their fellow Washingtonians make it through this tragedy. We owe them all a debt of gratitude. So in summary, we have compassion today, we have confidence in the investigation, and we have a firm commitment to restore I-5 so that people can get about their lives. And with that, Bruce, did you want to say something before we stand for this question? Bruce Standmeyer, Pierce County Executive.
Thank you, Mr. Governor. I would just like to emphasize the sense of teamwork that we saw beginning yesterday with the rescuers is now kind of continued into the recovery phase. When you see the work by kind of Pierce County, by Washington State Department of Transportation, by WSP, the leadership by our incident management team has been incredible. And I think when you look at the work that got accomplished last night in the pouring rain and what that has enabled us to achieve, I think is very impressive. And I also take a lot of pride in what has been said by the Amtrak and the NTSB about the work that has been done here locally. Some of the best they've seen in coordination, shows our training and preparations paid off. But it's not just here. The governor and I were down at the Family Assistance Center, and you see down there, you see Red Cross in Pierce County, our health department, and Amtrak and NTSB coming together to support our families. And while I'm very pleased, as the governor said, with the progress that has been made in clearing the scene and making sure that we're treating the casualties with respect, that's going very, very, very well. We've got a long road with the people who have been injured. As we said, we've met with some of the families. They are on a long, long journey. It's not just about getting I-5 open. It's about supporting our citizens who have been really harmed through this and helping those, bringing compassion around them. So thank you very much. I appreciate y'all coming out today. I'd like to...
We have Roger Millar, DOT, and Chief John Batista, State Patrol, if you have any questions. Otherwise, we will stand for questions.
Governor and Mr. County Executive, you say you have confidence in finding out what caused this crash, but what's your confidence level right now in Amtrak? This is the second wreck now from high speed that you've had in your county in a 6-month period, the second deadly crash that we know of based on what happened in Philadelphia and now here. What is your confidence in Amtrak trains in the state of Washington and in Pierce County?
Well, obviously, we are going to fulfill this duty to finish this investigation. When the investigation is done, you can be confident that federal, state, and local officials will take whatever measures are necessary to make whatever improvements are necessary. We do not know at this moment what those may be, but I can tell you it's going to get done because it has to get done. We have to assure people's confidence in rail transit. Now, it's very difficult to understand, but rail transit is still the safest measure of transit today. But that's not good enough for us. We want 0 accidents, and we want 0 tragedies of this nature. So I can commit that to you. That job is going to get done.
Have you spoken to Amtrak?
This guy has a question right here.
Why they haven't hooked up that positive train control? The equipment is there, it just wasn't hooked up.
So I'm going to ask you to ask Amtrak those questions. I can tell you some basic information about this. The positive speed control was originally mandated by Congress to be completed by 2015. Congress pushed back that deadline till the end of next year. I have been advised that commitment that Congress delayed, but that will be met, but obviously was not present at the time of this accident. I'll make one other comment. None of us, including myself, should be making conclusions about the causes of this accident at this moment. We need to get to the bottom of it. The one thing the NTSB told me is said, we are going to keep an open mind until all of this investigation is done. But I will tell you this. There are 1,000 unanswered questions about this right now. One of the questions is, could that speed control have made a difference? We don't know that for sure at the moment either. So I would just suggest that all of us commit to getting these answers, and all of us commit to making sure that whatever lessons we learn are followed and implemented so that people can be safe in their train traffic. Anything else?
Governor, does this derailment of the last one put the Amtrak Cascades at any risk to continue running in Washington from your standpoint?
Well, certainly, if we learn lessons and they are not followed by any rail provider, obviously that would be a concern. But I believe because of the extensive investigation that will be done, the confidence that I have, given the evidence that I've seen so far, the NTSB is going to have some really firm evidence, in part because of the black boxes that are available, that are going to provide very firm data to be able to make very firm and credible conclusions, I believe, as to what happened here. When that happens, I believe that by insistence, that we will make sure that the job gets done, that whatever happened here will not be repeated. And that's what I believe we will accomplish. Yeah, go ahead.
At the end of this investigation, if you are not confident that you have the answers you need, can you and will you step in to do anything to stop the trains or prevent this from happening again?
Of course we will. Whatever lessons we learn from this tragedy, I will be more than pleased and not have one hesitation to propose whatever legislation might be necessary, to propose whatever executive order might be necessary, to propose whatever collaboration we have with the federal government to do by any means necessary to improve train safety more than it was 2 days ago. We're gonna make that commitment. Obviously it's gonna happen. Now, because there's multiple jurisdictions, sometimes that takes multiple agencies. This is a sound transit jurisdiction. The rail is operated by Amtrak. There is federal regulatory control that prevents us sometimes in the state of Washington from doing some of the things we would like to do. We've urged the federal government to do some things that have not been accomplished. So it takes multiple jurisdictions working together. But given the nature of this tragedy, given the extent of loss, I feel we will succeed in improving rail transit coming out of this. Next question. Yeah, listen.
Yesterday, the president tweeted about infrastructure problems and even said that this was related to crumbling infrastructure. What's your view of that tweet and the issue of infrastructure in the state?
We don't know at the moment whether infrastructure, meaning the rail bed or the bridge, played any role in this accident at the moment. We simply don't know that. So I would say that that was perhaps jumping to conclusions before the investigation has been completed. So the president did not follow my advice, which is let's not jump to conclusions before we make decisions. We have got to get this right. We've got to make sure whatever happened here never happens again. And that means we got to have a thorough investigation and figure out how to fix this problem. Having said that, clearly we need greater infrastructure needs. And I'm glad our state has led. We led on a bipartisan basis the largest infrastructure package in the history of the state of Washington, $17 billion of infrastructure, including rail improvements. I wish Congress was as successful as we were in the state of Washington.
Is there any indication that this opening of this rail line was rushed before the train crews had the kind of training that they needed to be comfortable out here, that there was pressure on them to get them operational too soon, too fast?
So I am confident all the questions like that should be asked and will be answered. I have no indication that there was any such pressure or anything else. But again, I'm not making any conclusions about this. We need to get to the bottom of this after looking at all the evidence.
Governor, is there at this point, or will there be, in your estimation, a criminal investigation involved in this?
I have no indication of that at the moment, but that does not foreclose in any way that possibility. As I've said, the NTSB, I think, has a lot of good evidence to work from, and we will follow the trail where it leads.
Mr. Dameyer,
Yeah, Bruce, you want to add something?
This is the second time this has happened now in your county. High speed a factor. In both cases, you had a mayor in Lakewood that said they were worried about this exact thing happening. What do you want to say to the people of your county who now have watched this happen and injuries happen in the last 6 months?
So I'd say the first thing is we are absolutely focused today on making sure that we're taking care of our citizens who've been injured, getting this site cleared, and getting I-5 and the traffic reconfigured. That's our primary focus. There are very serious questions that we need to ask. We have had 2 accidents in Pierce County, and you can bet that we're going to be part of making sure that those questions are asked and that we believe the answers that come out from it. This is a very serious issue that we've got to get to the bottom of. But right now, that is not the focus. There'll be plenty of time to get those questions answered with the real facts. Today, we don't have them. All we have is a lot of questions.
Do you feel that Amtrak has worked with your community and with your county to address the concerns about speed in your county?
There's a lot of, obviously there's been a lot of concern about the speed expressed as it goes through the high-speed track. We're going to be evaluating that. Certainly there's been a case of lawsuits. There's going to be a lot of much more closely examining that as we go forward. But again, today, we need to understand the facts, and we don't have them all today.
Mr. Dameyer, one question that follows up on that. There have been questions, especially from Mark Rosenker, former NTSB, about the safety culture at Amtrak. At this point, understanding it's early on, do you have concerns about the safety culture at Amtrak?
Certainly, we want to understand all of the issues. There are, based on what we know, there are some areas, big questions that need to be answered. I'm not prepared today to make any judgments, but at some point in the future, we will be prepared. Okay?
Anything else?
Governor, you mentioned some of the unanswered questions, and there's been some reporting that perhaps the train engineer was distracted by a trainee in the locomotive. Based on your briefing with the NTSB, what can you say about that?
I don't have any additional information other than what is in the public realm in that regard. Yeah. Be safe. Take care of your loved ones. Take care.